Welcome to CultureBanx Game Changers, everyone, where we are bringing you the most interesting companies and the bosses behind them that are truly changing the game. I'm Corey Hale.
And I'm Ruth Umo. Today we're talking with the boss who's building the Etsy for diverse business owners. First though, let's get into the digital artisan market.
It's a very interesting market. When you think about Etsy, as you referenced earlier, which is all about like handcraft sort of markets, and you compare that to some of the bigger e-commerce players in the space like Amazon, which you're not really finding specific things. I mean, granted, I do like 2-day delivery, but sometimes you want things that are very curated, right? Highly curated. At least for me, when I'm shopping for different things, I love to shop small businesses. I like to shop from artisans and people that are making very unique items, just so you know, when I'm walking around with my New York City drip, it's just, you know, all me. Yeah.
Now, Black businesses in the U.S., they're opening at a rapid pace and they're thriving. So what do you think it is about the e-commerce platform that's really attractive to people of color?
I think Black people in general, we're always on our phones. Do you know that, especially when it comes to teenagers, African American teenagers actually that population has the biggest, or they are the biggest percentage users of mobile phones. So there's always mobile first. And then especially when you look across social media, Black adults are the largest social media users across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And there's a reason that we're so digital first, which actually, if I may harken back to something one of our game changers told us a couple of episodes ago, harkening back to Africa. I'm not going to go all the way back to 1685 like he did, but I'm going to go back a little bit just to the continent, because Africa itself is a mobile first continent, right? So people aren't necessarily going into stores. They're not necessarily going into traditional banking, right? It's all done mobile first. And I think that is part of like intrinsic, like in our blood, as they like to say. We like this mobile first and this digital environment.
Absolutely. And I also think the barriers to entry are just lower on digital platforms, right? You don't have to put up money up front for brick and mortar stores and things of that nature. So it just really democratizes the small business sector.
No, it definitely does. Well, Ruth, we don't want to keep our people waiting too much longer, right? No, we won't. Next up, everybody, story retailing. Stay with me on the hyphen. Say, Corey, why are you talking so slow? I'm not talking slow. I'm just trying to give it to you the way you need it. Story retailing with the CEO of OneKin right after this. Make sure you stick with us on CultureBanx Game Changers.
You know, entrepreneurs are some of the busiest people around. I mean, they're hiring, they're building, they're doing it all. We've been reading a lot of cool things about your company. But tell us, who does it benefit more, the lender or the boss?
Well, Solo is a marketplace, so it actually has to benefit both.
Rohan, Barley Sober. This is the company that is going to revolutionize the bar industry, not just here in the US, but globally. Tell us why. Now, there's nothing worse than having your business disorganized, but no need to fear. We are here to help.
First though, let's get started with some entrepreneurial news that everybody should be aware of this week.
Welcome back to Game Changers. If you want to shop for products built by people like you, then our next guest has you covered. Joining us now is Marvin Francois, CEO of OneKin. Welcome, Marvin.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Marvin. Well, we're very happy to have you. We see you brought us a host of products. But before we get into the products, Ruth mentioned earlier in the show that OneKin is essentially like the Etsy for creators, for business owners of color. What can you tell us about OneKin?
Yeah, I think that's a fair characterization. On a very basic level, we are an e-commerce marketplace. So you think about your Amazons and Etsy's of the world. Our customer base is as diverse as the world is. Our retailers are exclusively people of color. We're very intentional about elevating Black and brown brands. So we want to make sure we focus our platform on that audience. One thing that's also important to note about our platform is that it is curated. So we invest a lot of time, effort, and energy in making sure that we have the best brands, the best products represented on our platform.
Now, African American women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the US. Are you seeing that reflected on OneKin? You are.
1000%.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so our pipeline of prospective retailers is about maybe 250 long. Most of those are women of color. The brands that we currently have represented on our platform, it's about 20. Those are mostly women of color, which is very exciting. And that also just kind of reinforces the whole curation process that despite having